Before I begin this video, a massive fucking warning right here. If you cannot stand someone else having an opinion different from your own, please kindly fuck off. Anyway, so this topic was requested by Vina Wortmander. I think that's how you pronounce your name. I hope so. If I didn't pronounce it correctly, I'm sorry. But anyway, so this user requested that I would talk about why I don't like Todoroki. I assume this is because in my video about the anime awards, I said that I completely hate Todoroki. And I will come clean right now. I don't actually hate him. I only said that to trigger people who are Todoroki fanboys. But I don't actually like him. However, I don't really dislike him either. And yeah, let's talk about that. So as I was saying, I don't really hate Todoroki, but the thing is, he's like a very meh character to me. He's just there. He's not bad, he's not good. Now understand that I'm not saying he's badly written. I'm absolutely not saying that. I think his writing is fine. Honestly, I think it's nothing to really have a go at. To put things into perspective, just how I would place Todoroki, I guess on a scale, I've made a visual for you guys. Trust me, I'm prepared. So I'm gonna put it on the screen and you can see roughly what I mean when I say I think he's okay or meh, as opposed to some other characters. The main reason why I don't like Todoroki, or rather that I don't find him to be anything outstanding, is that he is basically born to be this overpowered student. He is essentially produced by his parents, well, primarily by his father, to become this powerhouse that's eventually going to surpass All Might. I think, to me, Todoroki would have been a much better character, or more likable character, should we say, if he had actually struggled to maybe unlock a certain side of his power, because we know he has ice and he has fire. And we did see him use ice at the beginning of the story. We never really saw him use fire. It wasn't really explained until season 2 of the anime or the sports festival in the manga that he had a grudge against his father. He didn't like his father, so he refused to use that power. I think it would have been better if he didn't use that power because he couldn't. He didn't really know how to trigger it. I think that would have been something a lot more enjoyable instead of him just refusing to use it, because that kind of gave me the vibe, at least at the beginning of the story, that this guy, he has the power to be this extremely powerful student. He was looking down on everyone and things like that. Now we know, obviously, after finding out about his past, that that wasn't the case. We do know he didn't use his fire because he didn't like his father. Kind of understandable once you know his backstory. So I mean, after finding out his backstory, I did like his backstory, and he wasn't as much of a douchebag to me. I would say he was a disliked character before that, but now after finding this out, he's at least somewhat redeemed him to be an okay character. He could still grow. I could still end up liking him in the future, you never know. But right now, the fact that he didn't start out like everyone else who has to kind of work their way up. He was just born being powerful. Now I'm not saying he was born skilled. Of course he did learn how to control his quirk on his own, but the potency of his quirk was kind of given to him instead of having to strengthen it like most other students would have to, like Bakugo, Deku, Tokoyami, you know, every other student essentially. Well, every other character in the story, should we say, not just the students. So bottom line is, I don't like Todoroki. Well, the main reason why I don't like him, he is a quirk prodigy. Another reason why I don't like Todoroki, or not dislike, I think I need to make this clear every time I mention it, because otherwise people are just gonna go apeshit on me, is the fanbase. And I'm not saying that the fanbase caused me to dislike Todoroki. I'm just saying that fanbase isn't improving the situation, because they are milking Todoroki to the point where he's like the best of the best, even though he really isn't. And I'm talking about him as a student, him as a quirk user, all of these kind of things, as a hero, you know. People are really putting him out there as if he was this crazy motherfucker, but at the end of the day, he's just a student, and we need to treat him as such. He is still in training and he is still learning, but people don't seem to realize that, and that's why, because of the fan base, I just can't get into this character, because I feel like the fan base is getting in the way, honestly. However, like I said before, he's not badly written as a character. He is actually, I would argue he's pretty well written. He's very reasonably well developed as well, as a whole, because you have this whole thing with his father at the sports festival, like I said before, which I really enjoyed. And then we have a little bit during the provisional hero license exam with Inasa, and then recently in the manga we had a few short moments during the remedial course when they actually, well, when he and his father had this moment, which was mostly on Endeavor's part, but it still made Todoroki's development a bit better indirectly. Now, one thing that I would like to see from Todoroki, and I'm not saying this because I hate him, as I've just stated numerous times, I don't like him, I don't dislike him, he's okay, but what I want to see from him is, I want to see Shoto Todoroki take an L. I want to see him lose a fight. This may seem strange, right? Because he's so strong, there's no way he's gonna lose, especially to another student, right? But I think that's exactly why he should. This series should kind of show that he isn't invincible, because up until now, we haven't really encountered anyone that's really defeated Todoroki in a fight. Every time Todoroki's fought, he's really been on top. During the Bakugo fight, he didn't really lose through skill. He kinda gave up, let's be honest. He gave up that fight pretty much. He stopped his fire and Bakugo pushed him out of the ring. That's really the only reason he lost that fight, at least so easily. So he hasn't really properly lost a fight in this series yet. And that's something that I would really enjoy seeing. I would like to see both him and some other characters that are seemingly on top, you know, people that we typically don't see lose a lot. I would like to see those characters experience proper loss. Like, imagine for instance Todoroki eventually comes up against Dabi. Yes, an example, okay? I'm not saying this is gonna happen anytime soon. And have Dabi absolutely destroy Todoroki in a fight. That is something that I would really enjoy seeing, because that would really show everyone that even though Todoroki was born to be this extreme powerhouse that was eventually gonna surpass All Might when he gets older, he can still take a pretty bad beating unless he is prepared against whoever he may end up fighting, because there's always gonna be someone who's stronger than you. And I think this should apply to My Hero Academia as well. It does still apply to most characters, but Todoroki is one of those characters that we haven't really seen take a proper L ever, pretty much. So to change the atmosphere around a lot, I'm gonna actually go out of my way to talk about my favorite moment of Todoroki, the moment I enjoyed the most. That is, I think, an anime only moment during the hospital scene after they fought Stain, and Todoroki made a fucking great joke, guys. It was so great, in fact, that even Deku laughed at it. Can you imagine Deku laughing at a joke? Well, it happened. Just watch and see for yourselves. But with that said, I think I'm gonna end the video here, so let me know what you think down below in the comments about this video. My reasonings for not liking Todoroki may not be the best, but then again, I'm not trying to argue a case, it's just the reasons why I don't fancy him as a character. Anyway, so yeah, let me know what you think about, I guess, that, and I mean, if you also don't like him particularly much, I'd love to know, but you may be one of those people who just love Todoroki, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, everyone has their own preferences at the end of the day. And as always, if you did, be sure to Detroit smash that like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new to my channel. This has been Chaotic Plus, and remember everyone, Toga is waifu, Toga is Laifu.